Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Life Off the Links. I am your host, Kevin Motznick, and today we are joined by PGA Tour professional Josh Teater. Josh, how's it going today?
Oh, doing great, Kevin. Thanks for having me, and hope you're having a great day as well.
Yeah, I am. I'm really grateful for you jumping on the show. Excited to get to hear more about your life off the links, your story. And so before we jump into that, want to do a little bit of some of these fast facts, just a little bit of history of your career and where you came from. So you grew up and currently live in Lexington, Kentucky, graduated from Morehead State University, and go Eagles, right? Eagles?
That's right. Yeah.
They got a good basketball team here lately.
Yeah, we had a good year. They our coach moved on to James Madison, so we'll see how that transpires. Coming on.
How the transition goes. That's right.
Yeah.
You went and turned pro in 2002 and then joined the PGA Tour in 2010. You've had 14 top 10 finishes on the tour, and you're married to your wife, Ashley, with two sons, Bane and Brooks. So just an initial reflection on some of those stats and career up to this point.
Yeah, I mean, turning pro in 2002 and joining the tour in 2010, that's a pretty big window, I would say. And, there was a lot of times in there where, it was like, am I doing the right thing? But, I just kept pursuing it and knew that I could be better. There was better stuff out there, better golf. And, it turned out to work out in 2009 and 10 when I made some steps.
That's crazy. Yeah. Can't wait to dig in a little bit more to that and that journey for you. And the perseverance that obviously had to have taken for that long of a window. So we'll dive into that here in a little bit. But before we get into all that, if you are watching us on YouTube, please remember, if you're enjoying our content, subscribe to the channel, give us a like, give us a comment, leave a review on the podcast, and follow us if you're listening on podcast. It helps us grow the channel and continue to get these amazing stories from professional golfers and others in the game out there. So we'd be really grateful for that. All right, so Josh, growing up, you grew up in Lexington, Kentucky. Tell us a little bit about what life for Josh Teater was like, more as a childhood and just growing up in Lexington.
Yeah, I say I grew up there. I moved there after first grade. I was 45 minutes from Lexington before that. But, it was all about playing sports. I wanted to be a Kentucky basketball player like every kid in Kentucky. That obviously did not pan out. And then I was a big baseball player, even all the way through high school. Like, that was kind of my main focus, I would say, up until maybe my junior year of high school. Didn't really start golf till I was 12. Played some tournaments maybe when I got to be 14, and was on the high school team, but kind of in the periphery. We had a really good team, and I couldn't make the lineup till my junior year. So, but you're really just focused on, whether it was playing organized sports or playing in the driveway or in somebody's backyard with the ball. Like, that's kind of really what I look to do, and how I spend a lot of my time, I would say.
Yeah. Wow.
As a kid.
That's crazy. So I'll come back to that. Not starting golf till 12 is fascinating to me, and really kind of getting into it at 14 and then now professional at PGA Tour. I want to come back to that, but a little bit more about just like your family. What was your family like? Do you have siblings, and what were some things that you and your family did growing up? What was life like in those regards?
Yeah, so my parents got divorced when I was about 2 years old. And then when I was 6, my mom met who's now my stepdad. Both very influential in my life. And my stepdad was a golfer. That's how my mom started playing. But that kind of led to me, let's just say last week, watching the PGA. Like, they'd have that on TV, and I'd have no interest. Like, I'm like, what does -6 mean? Or, what's -10 mean? Like, Shane Lowry's about to shoot,
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want to fall asleep. I don't have any interest in this game. Well, I'd say fast forward maybe 4 or 5 years, I was at the pool at the country club, and I'd see people hitting balls. And then probably about 10, I was like, I think I could do that. Like I can hit a ball like that. But it took a while for me to convince them to get me some clubs because they thought it would mess up my baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, like 12th birthday, I only got some clubs, and that's kind of where it all started.
Wow.
Between them and some friends that were starting to play, and I also had a stepsister and a stepbrother, both older. Stepbrother 5 years older, who I lived with. Never did live with my stepsister; she was already moved out. But around his friends, and none of those were golfers, but we played about football, basketball. I got beat up pretty good. If you didn't want to get beat up, you didn't play.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Either don't play or get bigger and beat them back up.
That's right.
That's great. So were you, your stepbrother, your stepsister, were you guys? I mean, it sounds like you and your stepbrother were pretty close. You guys have a good relationship growing up, and what was that like?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, he made it a little tough on me at times, which I appreciate. But, he's, like I said, 5 years older, so almost a little bit too far apart. We never played against each other in organized sports or we're on a team together. But, yeah, I'd say he helped him a grip.
Yeah. All right. So growing up in Lexington, you said, as a lot of people would say, aspired to play for the University of Kentucky on the basketball team. What are some things that you love about University of Kentucky? You're still big. I think aren't you rocking the Cats shirt today even?
Yeah,
there it is. Yeah.
I got the alternate logo.
There it is. Yeah. So what's your love for Kentucky like?
I mean, like we say, we bleed blue. I mean, before I could walk, I was rooting for the Cats. I think, watching games with whether it's my mom or stepdad later on, or my grandparents. But I mean, it's just a way of life. That's what we follow. It was basketball, and now, I mean, we went to a lot of football games as a kid, even when we were bad. It was easier to get to those games, but maybe even more of a football fan. I don't know. So yeah, I mean, it's just always rooting for them, as well as the Eagles, like you said.
Right. That's so cool. I love that. I love deep rooted fanhood for college sports and college teams, and so that's really cool.
Yeah.
All right. So at what point? I mean, that's pretty unique and crazy that at 12 years old. And then really kind of 14 before you started doing some organized tournaments, that you started playing the game. Not just like, okay, I'm kind of good at this, but like you're just starting. So at what point in that process did you get to a place of saying like, hey, you know what? Like, I'm athletic. I've been able to figure this out pretty quick, pick this up, and I'm not too bad. So at what point in there did you start to think like, okay, one, I really love this and I'm good at it, and then in addition to that, like, could this be something I do outside of high school and into college?
Yeah, I think if I go all the way back, I told somebody this the other day, like, I wanted to be a professional athlete, like, and I didn't know what it was going to be. And I would say that is the third option, but in my mind, if you go back to when I was a kid, but I just kind of saw that I'd progressed, a little bit each year, and by no means got really recruited to go to a big time school, but one of my teammates was getting recruited in a high school event to go to Moorhead, and I happened to play well that day. And Rex Cheney, who was the coach at the time, like, saw me play, and like that just kind of gave me an opportunity to go up there, and I got to play a lot in the 5 years I was there, redshirting 1 year, but and I just knew like I could probably go to a bigger and better school for baseball, but the ceiling was much lower. Like, you can play golf your whole life, you can only play baseball a certain amount of time. It wasn't like I was hitting home runs each day. I had one in my career, and I could catch a ground ball, but I don't think that's gonna make a long run in the major leagues. So
yeah,
I just think by elimination, like, it came to golf, and I knew if I didn't make it, like there's plenty of opportunities in the game of golf to meet people and, where are you going to end up, working or having a job down the road. So
Right.
I think that's kind of how it transpired. And, just with a lot of dedication and, working hard, here we are today.
Yeah. That's amazing. And just the idea of you kind of came up, you had this dream, this mentality of, I want to be a professional athlete someday. Like that was the goal in your mind. And you didn't let anything stop you from that happening. And even to the point, like you said, this was kind of more of maybe third down the line of like what you thought it would be.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was like, nope, this is a dream. This is what I want. This is what I think I can do. And it happened. And that's inspiring. I think it's awesome to hear of really just the hard work that went into that and just saying like, we're going to really press on for that. So love that, that story, and would love to hear a little bit more of like in those high school days, transformative time in people's lives, middle school, high school. What were some things for you in those years that you felt were pretty pivotal moments or transformational moments in your life, whether it was through golf or outside of golf, but that kind of helped shape a little bit of who you are today?
Yeah. I mean, I look back, I wasn't a kid that really got in much trouble. I kind of walked a pretty straight line, and like I learned a lot from other people and seeing what they were doing, and I was like, I don't want to do that, and I didn't want to get in trouble with my parents, number one, and I didn't want like my clubs or my baseball glove getting taken away. I wanted to keep playing, so I know we're going to get to talking about like the faith journey and a little bit of that, but I mean, as a kid, we would go to church, but it wasn't really an organized thing. We'd go Sundays. We might skip out early so we could get to our tea time later in high school, sit in the balcony. But, I was definitely exposed to that through middle school. And but it was never really a priority, I guess, for me. And I just wanted to get to the course or to the field and compete.
Yeah. No, I get that. I understand that 100%.
I think whether it was on the golf team in high school or the baseball team in high school, I was never the best player. I was always, somebody was always better than me. And I think that was huge in like, having me continue to work to try to get to where I want to go. And we had two guys one guy the grade ahead of me and one with me that got drafted straight out of high school for baseball. And, some people were like, why are you not going to go play baseball? I'm like, well, I see what these two are doing as like, I'm nowhere near what they got. So, I'm going to go a different route.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think, learning from others' experiences, good and bad, I think had a big impact on me.
Today's episode is sponsored once again by Braun and Fox, an upcoming golf brand that was born from a vision to combine the classic golf look with innovative style, while still remaining affordable to the player. You can check them out at braunandfox.com. That's BRAWN and Fox.com. Use our unique link for the show, braunandfox.com/lifeoffthelinks for a discount, or you can use our coupon code LOTL10 for 10% off. We love their products. One of my favorites is the Hold a Tee style hat, where you can see the nifty tee holder right there along the side of the rim. So many times I'm sliding the tee up under the rim of my hat and I'll forget about it, take my hat off, the tee falls, I'm picking them up, it's just chaos. But these are amazing. They hold the tee right there and they look great. The product is very high quality. We love their products. So go check them out, braunandfox.com.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, well, I would love to hear a little bit more of like the faith side of your story and where and when did that, because I think, was it in getting into college that started to become a big part of your life? And I heard maybe a story of, a buddy of yours, Matt Stone, on a trip to Moorhead that was pretty transformational. So can you talk a little about what that car ride was like, and who Matt Stone is or in your life, and what that conversation was like for you guys?
Yeah, so I think, through high school, Young Life, what an amazing organization. I think I look back at that, and that kind of is what sparked the change in my life to follow Christ. And, through high school, I would go to the club meetings. It's kind of what everybody did Monday night. Like, what else are we going to do? Let's go have some fun in somebody's basement.
Yeah.
Play some games, hear some funny skits, and hear a little message. And, but it got me together with good folks. And, our buddy Tom Pruden was our leader back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I always wondered, like, why is this older guy coming to hang out at these games and want to play golf with us? Like, I just didn't understand it. But, now looking back, he was just loving on us and, being the hands and feet of Jesus.
Yeah.
But so I would go to those. I was kind of invited to go to some camps, some smaller group meetings, but I always had the baseball practice or the golf practice. I couldn't make it, That was always a priority.
Mm-hmm.
And then you mentioned Matt Stone. He was really, I would say, influenced and transformed by Young Life. And then when he went into college, he became a volunteer and then, a leader, and then he was on staff for a number of years. And I would say from his transformation, he impacted me. And then, yes, I had to move in early in Moorhead my, junior year. And because I was in the U.S. Examiner, I had to move all my stuff in the dorm. And he went up and back with me that day. And we just had a great talk. And he challenged me. And I would say it really got me thinking and reading and praying. And, about a month later, I think it was, I accepted Christ. So.
Wow. That's so cool. Love what you talked about. Old Tom Pruden. And most people listening to this will not know who Tom Pruden is, but if you could only hear his laugh.
Surely we can splice that in here somehow.
That's a great idea. We'll put that in right here. Just a little audio of Tom's laugh.
Maybe he could start it off with a little introduction.
I love that.
Joke or something.
I love that. But
he still reaches out to me every week. I'm on a group text with him and a bunch of guys, and try to give some encouraging words daily. So.
Yeah, and that's what's so cool about your experience with Young Life and the ministry, and how that played a role, because so much of what Young Life is about is leaders just being relational with students. And yes, it is the hope that students come to know who Jesus is, but at the end of the day, like, leaders just want to be someone in these students' lives who shows up, who's there, who values them, who shows them that they matter. And that's what it sounds like Tom did for you, and just kept showing up. And then Matt Stone was the next one that just kept showing up and said, he probably jumped at the chance to ride with you and help you move into Moorhead State, and just be a friend. And so the idea that, you didn't really talk about anything that they necessarily said, but just the way that they loved on you and cared for you, and how that was something that was a pivotal role in your transformation and decision to really walk with the Lord. And I think that's like a big thing for all of us as we're listening or watching this to think about, is like, we can put pressure on ourselves of the things we try to say to people or say the right words or all that, but it's just loving people. Just show up and be someone that cares for the people around us. And so what are some things, maybe let's dig into Tom and Matt a little bit. What are a couple of things that they've, maybe things that you've learned from them that you take into your life now that are still a part of who you are today?
I'll tell this story. So I did a we had a Young Life banquet kind of for some sponsors of their golf outing, and this was last fall, I believe. I just earned my PGA Tour card back, and I'm 45. Some of these kids out here are 20, 22, and they had me say a few words, and after that, and even toward the end of it, I think I verbalized this. It's like I almost kind of feel like I am a little bit of Tom Pruden on the corporate tour, like, yeah, I'm out here competing, but there's a lot of young guys that maybe have some questions, and I've helped them in a way, or they haven't asked me any questions, but hopefully showing them something that can help them, whether it's with golf or with life or whatever it may be. So I think both those guys do that either with words or without, and I just think maybe that's something that hopefully I'm doing.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. I'm sure it's
I don't know that I have as many words as either one of those two guys. But,
no.
But that's why we're such good friends, is because we're probably nowhere near the same type person.
Yeah, that's right. That's so good. Oh, thanks for sharing that. And just sharing that story and insight from how that has played a big role in your life. And I'm curious, as you then, so you're at Morehead State at that point, Matt Stone, this conversation happens, you really decide, hey, I want to commit to this. How did that then begin to shift your, who you were as a person in college and then pursuing professional career? So what was that commitment to start really making your faith a priority in your life, following Jesus? How did that change you as a golfer and, as a person from that point into trying to make this thing a career?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just kind of made me realize that golf isn't the main thing. And me trying to be perfect is not the main thing, because those two things are not possible. Like, golf's not going to be perfect, and you're not going to be a perfect human. There's only one. It gives you freedom, freedom to make mistakes, freedom to, whether it's on or off the course or whatever it may be, because, as long as you ask for forgiveness, you'll receive it. So not that we're out there trying to hurt other people or, sin against his word, but it happens, we're all sinners and fall short. So, I think it just made me realize that, and it's still hard because each day you got to wake up and you got to recommit and die to yourself and know that, hey, I'm going to try to do my best, but when you don't, like, you can't beat yourself up on it. And, we say it all the time, but we're not our golf score. But a lot of times it feels like we are, because, what shows up on the internet is what people see, and that's what we see, and that's how we're judged on if we've been successful or not. But that's not how he judges us. So that's just the thing, to live freely and, freed by his dying on the cross and freeing us from all the, bad of the world, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so interesting. I mean, I've had now a few guys from the tour, Jay Bird and Ben Crane, Webb Simpson, these guys, and I love it's fascinating. And I think when you've experienced it, you totally understand what you guys are saying. But the word that keeps coming up when they start talking about their pursuit in golf, knowing Jesus, is freedom. Like, there's this freedom that comes from it. There's this kind of weight taken off now. And this is the thing, and I know you guys all would say this, it doesn't mean you don't care anymore, that you're not working hard. It just means it's not what defines you. And so when you can go at the end of the day, and, Webb talked about, if I can get done with my career, my day, and know that I did everything I could, I worked hard, I used the gifts that God gave me, and then just let the results happen as they are, then I can feel good about that. And that's where you can find your identity is in your faith in who Jesus says you are versus what the scorecard And I just think I've said this before on the show. It's like, I think that plays an advantage in a sense to you guys on the courses. A bad hole, a bad shot, a bad round, it doesn't maybe weigh you down and affect you as much as it could, because you're able to kind of let that go. And so
Sure.
I love that.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's hard to, sometimes it's hard to see that through, but when you are, I totally agree that, you have a bad day and you can just be free to say it doesn't matter, like in the end, and then you can go back the next day. And I think the major point there is, as long as you're doing what you can do and you're using the gifts that you've been given, then, but when you aren't, and there's times I'd say we've all done that. We've been a little lazy here.
Oh yeah.
That's when I think it gets the most frustrating, is when that you're either not putting it all out there, or we know that we're falling short of what we're capable of.
Yes, absolutely. I want to shift a little bit and talk some more about maybe your current family and your wife, your kids, and where did you and your wife meet? How did you guys get to know each other? And just tell us a little bit about that story.
Yeah, so that was I didn't become a UK basketball player, but we did meet in Rupp Arena. So yeah, it was they were doing a charitable game during the NBA lockout, where a lot of the Kentucky players came back. A friend of mine and I went, and before the game, I went to the floor to talk to a local news guy that I'd known, a guy named Steve Moss, and my wife Ashley she walks up, and she had interned for him, and she played college basketball at Georgetown College, and he introduced us, and she probably didn't think much of that, but she caught my eye, and I noticed her later on sitting a section over, and I just reached out to her, actually on Facebook, so we can kind of say we met on the internet, I guess. But she dodged me for a little bit, but we ended up going to dinner. She was living in Cincinnati at the time. And that's how we met. I think we had a lot in common, being, competitors, athletes, and faith, and all the things. We started dating, and a year later got engaged and married. We've been married over 11 years. So, 2 beautiful boys. They drive us nuts at times, but they're awesome. Bane and Brooks. Bane will be 10 here in about a month, and Brooks is 6. So, deep into the baseball season right now. So,
yeah,
I'm down here in Knoxville, and they both had games last night, so I was trying to keep up with that, and that's kind of what we do.
Yeah. I can even just sense your love for those boys. Tell us, can you talk a little bit about, I think one of the things that is maybe overlooked by us as the average, golfer, fan of the game, sees you guys out there grinding it on, but we see you Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We maybe don't understand what it takes and the toll it can take on a family to balance all of that. So can you talk a little about just how you really try to balance the work, family, life balance, and still care for your family, still prioritize your boys, but also knowing that you're in a job and a career that requires you being currently right now, as we're recording this, in Knoxville, getting ready for a Corn Ferry event. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's a tough deal. It's hard to figure out what tournament to go to, and we're trying to get them to come out when they can, especially with the summer coming up. But during the school year, it's like we can miss a little bit of school, but not too much. And I always wanted them to be out here is the goal, but with the ages, it's just not possible anymore. And I think when I'm home, I try to either work early in the day or late in the day. try to be there to either take them to school or pick them up. Just little things like that, try to be present at their games when I can. Take my the little guy, he's graduating from kindergarten tomorrow, like kindergarten graduation.
Mm.
But as long as we don't get any rain, I've got 7:50 tea time, and we're about just over 2 hours. So I'm planning to shoot back up there. He asked me.
No, that's good.
Everybody would have bet I probably would have teared up at some point during this, so might as well do it. But he asked me before I left on Sunday night, like, are you going to be here for that? And I'm like, I don't know, bud. So I'm going to do my best to try to get there.
Yeah.
And then they may come down here for the last round or two, Saturday and Sunday. So it's always putting the pieces of the puzzle together.
Yeah.
I know they're traveling, about 4 or 5 weeks here in the middle of the summer. So
yeah,
that'll be fun.
Yeah, man.
I mean, and when I'm away, actually working as hard as you can, trying to get them here and there. And luckily right now they're kind of going the same places. But, as time goes on, one will be going one place, one will be going the other. A lot of help to get that done.
Yeah. Yeah. Takes a village for sure. And I appreciate, one, just the honesty of like peeling back the curtain to show like, man, you guys are people, like you guys have families, and these are decisions that we don't think about, that you guys have to decide and commit to. And it's, to be able to continue to do the job that you have felt called to do, and it's something that is providing for your family. There's things in other careers that require those same kind of decisions to say, like, I might have to miss a recital or a game or a graduation. And I appreciate you giving us some insight into that. And then, just even the honesty to Bane to be like, I don't know, but I'm going to do whatever I can to be there, because that's where I want to be. And I think, I've got a 5-year-old, almost 5-year-old girl, and, I think they get that. They understand that and appreciate that versus just being like, not being upfront. And so anyways, I'll be praying that it doesn't rain enough to where you can get there for sure. And then just go freaking kill it this weekend and win the tournament, and then it's all worth it too. So
there we go.
There it is. All right. So let's talk a little bit before we'll transition into something else, but you talked about 2002 to 2010, turned pro, and then 8 years before getting in the PGA Tour. What was that journey like for you? And you even said already, like, there were times where I thought, I'm just hanging the bag up. I'm not doing this. So talk about that journey, and then in those moments of questioning, what was it that kind of pushed you through to keep going?
Yeah, when I finished college, I was still a young golfer, as we said, and I had in my mind that I was going to go at least get to the third stage of the Q school. I was going to have what was then nationwide status, and I'd battle it out. But, every year in the fall, Q school shows up, and, a couple times I get through first stage and miss the second. A couple times I missed the first stage. So it's like, and those are probably the years that I'm like, what are we going to do here? Like, I can't get through first stage. But I just always knew that, like, I was just not playing to my potential, and I'm like, thankfully I had great support to be able to stay out there financially, good sponsors and people that were behind me. So I just, it's what I wanted to do. There was nothing else. And if there was something else that kind of was on my mind that I wanted to do, I might have done it. But, I was kind of one track mind, stubborn. I think in ways that hurts, but in ways it's been very beneficial for me.
Yeah.
But, and, it was just a lot of like driving in the car, packed up, staying in hotels with 2 or 3 guys, and making great friendships, and some that I would say some of that stuff has been better than in the tour, you know.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people on the tour, and everybody's like, we're talking with families, you know, you're not spending a whole lot of time with other guys. But I still talk with, you know, a handful of guys that we traveled and played with, and some of the experiences we had, some of the awful places we went and ate and stayed, and all the things. But I mean, it was a grind, but it was what we all wanted to do. It helped get us better. And, you know, it's just like you would come to the fall, and it's like I'm putting all my chips on the table. And I didn't make it. Didn't make it. And then I think in 2008, I just kind of was to the point where, like, it's time. Like, I'm either going to get better or I am going to go do something else.
Yeah.
And that year, I connected with Matt Killen, who he helped me for 8 years on my golf game instruction. Took a little break, but I'm back now working with him again the last couple of years. And I don't know, I just feel like he took what I had and made it work to the best he could. It made me understand, you know, my tendencies. And his comment to me was like, man, I think with a few small, like, fundamental changes, you can win Q school, you know, in a few months. This was in 2008, and I didn't win, but I mean, I was in the top 25 to get a tour card coming down the stretch, and had one of the major collapses. But looking back, it was a blessing, because I got to go to the Corn Ferry Tour, or what is now Corn Ferry Tour, for a full season. Picked my schedule, and ended up winning in Utah, finishing 7th on the list that year, and getting to the tour for the first time in 2010. And then, you know, sticking for about 5 or 6 years on the tour. And then since then, it's been a little bit of a, you know, up and down situation, but we're back out there now, and hasn't gone as I would hope so far this year. But, you know, like we say, is like, good. We got half the season left. Like, we're coming out of the All-Star break. Like, let's go for the second half win.
It's a reset, and let's go get it. That's what
I mean. I'm here in Knoxville because I'm not getting many starts in the next month or so, and I'm just, you know, hopefully getting the mojo going in the right direction and seeing some good things, because I feel like I've been working on good stuff. But, you know, I like to see some good scores come out of it.
Yeah, and that's what's so cool about the game. People don't follow the game and, like, very much, so you might not know that, you know, these guys, if you guys don't make the cut, then there's no paycheck coming. And so it is this pressure of, you know, I'm trying to do the best you can, not just to win, but to make the cut, to get to the weekend. And then the other cool thing that is, like, one weekend can change everything. And especially, you know, Corn Ferry Tour, like, that can get you into a lot of the PGA Tour stuff, but then you get a win on the PGA and you get exempt status for that year and the next. And I mean, it's every week can change it. And so that's what I think is so cool, is like, okay, the week's over, but this next week can be the week that it clicks and it changes everything. And that's really exciting part about the game.
That's what we talk about with, I mentioned him earlier, Nick Mingione, Kentucky baseball coach. Shout out to Coach of the Year in SEC. But you know, we talk about whether you win or lose, like, it expires at midnight, and kind of like a day of golf, you know, it expires at midnight. And then that week, whether you say you win or you finish dead last, like, it expires, you're going to the next week. So, and you can even break that down to each shot. Like, it expires within 20 seconds after you hit it. Like, whether you hole out from 220 or you hit it in the water, like, you just got to let it go.
Yep. It's such a mental game. So, okay. Well, we're going to talk a little bit more about current stuff and what you're looking forward to the rest of the year.
Okay.
But I want to shift a little bit into a segment we like to call Quick Nine. quick holes at the end of the day. So we're going to do some 9 rapid-fire questions with you. You give us answer, and I might ask for some follow-up if needed. So this is Quick 9 with Josh Teater. All right, hole number 1. What is your favorite hobby to do when you're not golfing?
Playing pickleball.
Okay, so you've gotten the itch. Was it something you've done for a long time, or was that here in these last couple of years when it's?
I'd say 5 years I've been playing. So I think I was at the beginning of the boom, but in fact, some guys I played practice round with yesterday, Daniel Summerage, Rahul Oppenheim, they were going to play. I had a pack meeting with the PGA Tour, so I couldn't make it yesterday. But I love getting out there and just kind of. It's a tough game, and it takes a lot of patience as well. So it helps in golf in some ways, but man, it's I've kind of always joked, like, when golf's over, I'm gonna find a nice place to be a pickleball instructor. So.
Heck yeah! Oh, that's great. I love it. I love that guys are like out there in between practice rounds going to find a pickleball court too. It's really fun.
Yeah.
All right, hole number 2. Do you have a favorite TV show that if you are just have a day to binge watch some TV, what's a show that you'd be watching?
Oh man, I gotta go with The Office. I mean, it's old, but it's so good. And my rookie year, 2010, I actually met Andy Buckley, who played David Wallace on the show. And,
No way.
I mean, what a guy! I don't know. There's some videos out there from Green Bowl last year. He was interviewing people at the charity pro-am. He sent me a big message when I got my card in Evansville. Like, he checks me daily or weekly at a minimum about golf. So he loves it. And yeah, I gotta say The Office.
That's cool. And I think a lot of people would echo that. It's a great show. All right, hole number 3. What kind of music are you listening to before a tournament round?
Oh man, I got a playlist in there with a lot of Need to Breathe. And, somebody just put me on that Forrest Frank recently. Lecrae. I like some hip hop, but I like to have some good influence in that hip hop.
Yeah, Lecrae I love Lecrae.
Yeah.
That Forrest Frank guy he's real good. I love a couple of his new stuff coming out. So that's a good playlist right there. Hole number 4. What's your favorite thing about the state of Kentucky, or excuse me, the Commonwealth of Kentucky?
I think the people. I mean, it's just somebody asked me a few months ago, like, is Kentucky in the South? I'm like, well, what kind of hospitality do you get when you go there? So, I don't know. That might be a little prideful.
That's great. Love that. Number 5, hole number 5. Love asking this question with my guests. If you're on a road trip, so you're driving to Knoxville for this, and you got to take a quick stop at a gas station, what snack and drink are you grabbing in the gas station?
Man, well, what time of day are we going? Because
let's go like mid-afternoon. So it's not breakfast. Okay. I mean, it's definitely like a nice afternoon snack.
All right. Well, we're coming with Kentucky's own soft drink, an Ale-81. For sure. And then gotta have some sunflower seeds, and then maybe outside a Reese cup. We'll throw that in there.
Yep, that's a good combo. What's your sunflower seed flavor?
Oh, I go all over. I think actually on this past trip I had some dill pickles. They were left over from Bay, and you bought them at the concession stand. So hopefully he's not looking for them.
That's great. That's funny. I feel like dill pickle sunflower seeds are more popular than I thought they were. I've heard that many times.
Yeah, I didn't. At first, I was like, I don't know that I want these, but they're kind of addictive.
Yep, that's what I've heard. All right, hole number 6. Did you have a nickname as a kid growing up? And if so, what was it?
Well, playing baseball, I think my baseball coach, Herb Hammond, he just started calling me Teat Dog.
Teat Dog.
And yeah, we had Pew Dog, Teat Dog. We had a bunch of guys. I don't even know, but yeah.
That's great. I love that. It's good. All right, hole number 7. Is there a favorite place for you and your wife Ashley if you guys go out for dinner local? What's a spot y'all go to?
Oh man, that doesn't happen as much as it needs to. But I mean, we like OBC Kitchen there in Lexington, one of the BHG restaurants.
Okay, what's OBC stand for and what's BHG stand for?
All right, BHG is Bluegrass Hospitality Group, and they have a group of restaurants, and OBC Kitchen is Old Bourbon County Kitchen, I think.
Okay.
Country Kitchen. Yeah, but
Great.
they have the Malones, the Drakes, all that's under one umbrella.
Yeah. All right, hole number 8. I've heard from our friend Tom Pruden to ask this question. What is your favorite misspelling of your name?
Oh man, it's a good one. I mean, I don't know if it's Tintor or Tester or Tutor. I mean, it's pretty hilarious. It goes all the way back to like junior golf. And, I mean, you know, you can kind of understand Teeter, or
Right.
maybe Teator, but when you get an N and an S and all that in there, it's pretty funny. To this day, like I get one out maybe on a courtesy car or something. It'll have my name inside, and it'll have like something we haven't seen before, and I have to take a picture and send it to him. But he gets a kick out of it, and I think his favorite is Tintor, because every time he'll text me and say that, or on a voicemail.
Oh,
How you doing?
Tintor. I mean, that's just, yeah. The fact that can happen on a courtesy car or in like a program at a tournament, that's
Just recently at a tournament, I think. So the tournament posted tee times in the locker room, and it was spelled correctly. And then the Pro-Am list was right next to it. Obviously, somebody else was in charge because it had Teeter. I'm like, but you know, I heard somebody talk. I don't know if you're familiar with Nate Bargatze,
oh yeah.
comedian.
Oh, yeah.
Love that guy. So,
Yes.
so funny. He's one of the biggest stars in the world right now, comedy wise. He said he did a show and they misspelled his name on his badge, VIP badge. But like he's like, who am I? Like it
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
and that's the way I feel about it. But Tom and I like to joke about it, and then Matt throws his 2 cents in as well. So
That's great. That's funny.
I'm just
That's
just
good.
glad those people will type my names and put it on the tee time.
Hey.
Put it in the courtesy card.
Amen to that. Amen to that. I just wish, a lot of us are like, I wish my name was on a courtesy card. So, yes, amen to that. All right, last hole number 9. What is a favorite or funniest golf memory that you can think of? So this could be professional memory or just having fun with some friends, but it's something, your favorite or funniest memory that comes to mind.
I mean, it's quite embarrassing, but the one that's going to go down in the history for me is when my short fuse, as Jonathan Bird likes to call it burned out down in Greenville, South Carolina a couple years ago, and I had to take a shoe off to hit a shot, and the shot didn't go well, and the shoe ended up in the water, and I ended up in the water to get it. And you know, the people, the Pro-Am guys I was playing with loved it. They were like, this is the best Pro-Am ever. Ashley and the boys were out there. She was videoing it, and the commentary on her video is out of this world. But, you know, definitely not proud of this moment, but it will be a memory that we'll never forget.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Hey, we've all been there. So anybody, don't you for 1 second judge, because we've all either done it or wanted to throw everything into it. So we've been there. Yes. So that was in a Pro-Am, like a Pro-Am day.
It was actually like the tournament was a Pro-Am, like the first 2 or 3 days. So like it was round 1, and it was it's not good. It's a memory. I wouldn't know if it's a good one.
Yep, for sure. That's great. Well, thanks for doing a little quick 9 with us. We're gonna kind of go into the last part of the show here, and want to hear just a little bit more about kind of where you're at now. What are things that you're excited about coming up? And so, what are you excited about currently this year in your career?
Yeah, I mean, I think, it feels like this season's almost over, which I think I've got maybe 7 starts before the playoffs, and I've played 11, so I guess it is more than half over. But like we were talking earlier, like it's a good reset. It's a good time to obviously not look backwards, but look forward.
Yep.
And also realize that there's just 7 or 8 events after the playoffs, with the way the schedule is set up to, secure your spot for 2026 or 2025. So, kind of making a new season within the season.
Yeah.
I feel like my results have been very poor, but I don't feel like my preparation or what I'm working on has been bad. It's just, in certain situations out there, I'm in tournaments, I've not performed where I needed to. And we're playing some courses coming up that I'm more familiar with. I think some of the courses earlier in the season I've never been to. So looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to having a family out there toward the next, I guess, not this month, but after this month, into June and on. So doing some experiences out on the road with that. Maybe some major league ball games or whitewater rafting or something like that out in Tahoe. I don't know what we'll do.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I mean, just looking forward to trying to wake up each day and trying to be prepared to go execute a plan and trust that plan is going to lead me where I want to go.
Yeah. I love that. Well, I know by the time we release this episode, you will, be a few weeks down into the year schedule of what you're talking about now. But I know that I will be very much following that, and I hope that everyone listening can jump on the Teater train and be pulling for you, rooting for you. And man, yeah, just excited to see what happens this year. I'm going to be rooting hard for you to get a dub this year for sure. We are, like I just said, we're going to be rooting for you. If you had not heard Josh Teeter's story before this or had been following him, I hope that this is would encourage you to be watching Josh's journey from here on out and keep rooting for him. If we wanted to follow along and just kind of see what's going on, is there you on social media things that people could go and follow what you're doing? Where can we find you at?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter, or I guess it's X now. I don't know.
Yeah.
At JTeater12, TEATER16. And the same on Instagram. I'll post some stuff on Instagram, but I only follow, I think, 2 or 3 accounts, and they're all my wife. It's her personal and her real estate account. So I'll look through there and track down some folks. I like to see what they post, but I try to stay off there as much as I can.
Yeah, no, I get it. So more of doing a few things on Twitter, X. You'll post some things on.
Yeah.
That's probably the best way to just see what's going on.
I would say so. Yeah.
Great. We'll put we'll link your accounts in the show notes. So if you're wanting to go follow along with Josh and see what's going on, just go down the show notes and you can see and click on those to follow what's going on. And then just be looking up Korn Ferry events and PGA events coming up this year. And, I know on the app you can go and favorite your golfers. And I know Josh Teeter's one of my favorites on mine to see how you're doing. So you guys can be doing that as well. All right. Last question for you, Josh. We've talked about Young Life in the ministry, and it's a ministry for middle school, high school students, college students. And I've worked with Young Life for a long time. And so I have a passion for that age demographic, middle school, high school in particular, and, college folks. But I love asking my guests to end the show, what would be some advice that you would give for current high school students that maybe want to pursue golf, whether as a player or just in the industry? What would be some advice you might give them going forward?
Yeah, I mean, my advice would be, if you want to be let's just say, a professional golfer, you have to kind of think that way. And I know you're still young and you're still a kid, so have fun.
Mm-hmm.
But, find somebody that knows what they're doing, has had success with other players, and kind of lean on them for advice, as you go through college and high school to get you to where you want to go. There's a young kid at my club in Lexington that plays at Auburn now, and I mean, he's kind of almost been a pro for the last 4 or 5 years because he works with some instructors that pros work with, and I don't know that there's a time that's too early for that. I would say play the game a lot. Don't just be on the range getting instruction, but find some 2 or 3 different ball striking games or putting short game games that challenge you and daily, and pick 1 or 2 to do them, and don't overwork, but work the right way.
Yeah,
and compete. That's all I can say is there's nothing better than competing.
Yeah, that's great. Well, Josh, we are very grateful for you taking the time right before a Korn Ferry event and spending time with us to share about your life and what your life off the links is like. And we're grateful that you joined us today.
It was an honor. Thanks for having me, Kevin, and I'll be looking out for other episodes down the road.
Hey, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
I can learn. I'm going to go tune in and listen to Jaybird, Ben, and Webb and learn from them.
Yep, that's right. There's some good wisdom for sure, and a lot of just fun stories as well. So, hey, y'all, thank you again for you tuning in and watching and listening. We're grateful for y'all. Don't forget, if you've enjoyed this episode and other episodes, make sure to subscribe on the YouTube channel and like the video. And then if you're listening on podcast, follow our channel, follow the show, and leave a comment for us. It helps us a lot. We're really grateful for that. This has been another episode of Life Off the Links this week with Josh Teater. I'm Kevin Monsnick, your host. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you on the next episode.